Most of us have hundreds of thoughts in our heads at any moment. Will I be able to pay the rent? Will I be able to pay the loan installment? Will I be able to meet the targets at work? Or, looking back at the past, how beautiful it was back then. I wish I could go back to those days. I wish I hadn't said that, or I wish I had said that instead. We live with hundreds of thoughts running through our minds at all times, while also trying to get things done. As a result of all this, our minds start to experience serious fatigue. One of the biggest problems, especially for people living under stress in big cities, is the inability to stay in the present moment. Excessive anxiety, depressive thoughts, or an unexplained sense of exhaustion. One of the main reasons behind this is exactly that our constantly circulating thoughts, whether about the past or the future. These thoughts, over time, lead to fatigue, forgetfulness, minor clumsiness, and in more advanced stages, depressive thinking and anxiety. Perhaps most of us have experienced this. When we pick up a book and try to read it, we may find ourselves reading the same part over and over again, or putting the book aside because we can't focus. This is because it is not easy to focus on one thing when our mind is busy with many thoughts. Therefore, this issue has become one of the biggest problems of today's people. We are living very fast right now. Everything is flowing very fast. In the middle of all this speed, our lives are also moving fast. Unfortunately, this pace tires both our minds and our bodies. So, is there no solution to this? This is where some techniques come into play. In this video, I will tell you about one of these techniques. Now, if you notice, the thoughts in our minds either contain regret, anger, or longing for the past, or they are filled with worries and plans for the future. That is why we cannot stay in the moment. We cannot be in the present moment. What does it mean to be in the moment? There is a very trendy saying lately, stay in the moment, live in the moment, but what does it mean to stay in the moment? Staying in the moment means living the moment we are in fully, with all our feelings and thoughts, truly feeling and noticing that moment. It means not thinking about anything about the past or the future at that time. Of course, this is not easy for our brain. As I mentioned in my previous videos, your brain doesn't care if you are happy or not. It has only one goal, to keep you alive. Therefore, it constantly calculates threats and makes plans. However, we can still train our mind. We can do some things for this. I want to give an example of staying in the moment. Let's say we have a daughter named I. One day, I goes for a walk. While walking, he is completely in the moment. He feels the ground he is stepping on. He notices how it feels under his feet. He feels the wind blowing on his skin as he swings his arms. He hears the sounds of the birds around him. He looks at the colors of the trees, the greenery, the flowers, and even tries to smell them. Ace is completely present in this moment, but suddenly he hears the sound of a saw. He looks in that direction and sees a man cutting tree branches. At that moment, I remembers her broken saw at home. Then she starts to think, that saw has been broken for how long? I told my husband so many times, he still hasn't fixed it. It's been there 4 weeks, but he still hasn't done it. Now I is starting to get angry. Her heart is beating faster. She frowns. She keeps walking, but she no longer notices where she is stepping. Is I still in the moment? No, she is not. She's in a completely different place now. Her mind is racing with thoughts of her husband. She's thinking about the things he did in the past. And she doesn't even realize where she's stepping anymore. That's why we experience little accidents, clumsiness, and you walk into a room, but once you're inside, you forget why you came. All this happens due to the overload in our mind. Well, how can I walk if she doesn't see where she's stepping? This is where automatic behaviors come into play. What is automatic behavior? If you do an action over and over again, after a while you may do it without even realizing it. For example, a person who constantly uses a keyboard may eventually start typing without looking at the keys. A person who is used to driving a car does so without thinking about changing gears or pressing the clutch. Why does the brain do this? This is actually a time-saving strategy your brain thinks. If you're going to do this every day, I won't bother you. I'll put it on automatic, so you can focus on other things. Double quotes. At first glance, it sounds great, right? So we can do many things at the same time, but there is a downside to this. Acting with automatic behavior reduces awareness. Because when you do something automatically, your mind is busy with something else. And it's not easy to pay attention to everything at the same time. That's why we experience minor accidents, clumsiness, or mental fatigue. Because our awareness is reduced, we miss things about ourselves and our surroundings. We look, but we do not see. We hear, but we do not listen. If we take a look at our lives, we can see that most of our daily routines consist of automatic behaviors. We wake up at the same time every morning. We do the same things. We eat the same food. We take the same routes to work. We do similar things at work or at home. Then we come home, eat, do similar things again, and go to bed. We are like people who act entirely out of habit, as if they were hypnotized. If you want to reduce your stress, improve your ability to stay in the moment, and strengthen your focus, mindfulness techniques can be useful. I use it too, and it has helped me a lot. That's why I recommend it to you too. Mindfulness is a technique of gently bringing your mind back to the present moment when thoughts have wandered. This is a very old and very effective method. In awareness, we are told. When you are doing something, observe yourself as if you were an outside observer. Notice your feelings, emotions, and thoughts. Don't judge them. Just observe and accept them. Some people ask, what if I feel bad while doing mindfulness? Won't I feel worse? Double quotes. No, quite the opposite. In fact, suppressing or running away from emotions can make you feel worse. Recognizing emotions is the first step to healing. If you are experiencing negative emotions, name them. I'm anxious right now. I'm stressed right now. I'm having negative thoughts right now. Just name them, but don't judge them. Why do I always feel like this? What if my life is always like this? Don't think about these things. Emotions are temporary. They come and go. You are not your emotions. You are the host. Emotions are the guest. They come and then they go. This understanding will bring you peace. Mindfulness technique is actually a technique that helps you gently bring your mind's constantly distracted attention and thoughts back to the moment and improves these skills. It is a very old and very effective method. In this technique, we are told. At any moment, while doing anything, watch all your attention, feelings and sensations as if you were an outside observer. Notice what is happening as if you were an outside person and accept it without questioning or judging. So, in the mindfulness technique, I observe my current body sensations, the things I perceive with my senses, the emotional state I am in, and my thoughts as if I were an outside eye in any given situation. And I definitely do not judge myself. So, what do we mean by not judging? You walk into a room, but once you're inside, you forget why you came. All this happens due to the overload in our mind. Well, how can I walk if she doesn't see where she's stepping? This is where automatic behaviors come into play. What is automatic behavior? If you do an action over and over again, after a while you may do it without even realizing it. For example, a person who constantly uses a keyboard may eventually start typing without looking at the keys. For example, let's say that when I look inside myself, a thought from the past comes to mind. If I notice this thought and get angry with myself and say, "God damn it, see, I went back to the past again." Here again, a situation of self-blame and rebellion occurs. However, what needs to be done in the mindfulness technique is, on the contrary, to notice that my thoughts about the past are coming to my mind in a completely objective way, to accept them as they are and not to judge them. The basic philosophy is to observe and accept what is as it is. So, what good will this do? This technique increases your mental awareness, helping you to fully experience the present moment by letting go of past regrets and future worries. It allows you to observe your emotions and thoughts as they flow naturally, rather than trying to control them. This reduces stress, increases mental clarity, and strengthens your ability to stay in the moment. In fact, avoiding or suppressing those feelings can actually make you worse off in the long run. Recognizing those feelings is one of the first steps to healing, and in fact, one of the most important. Now, let's say you're in a negative emotional state, and negative thoughts are constantly running through your mind. In such a situation, immediately notice it and name it. So, am I anxious right now? Am I stressed right now? Or are negative thoughts running through my head? Just name it. The important thing here is not to judge it after you name it. In other words, don't question it like this. Why does it always happen? Why do these things happen to me? What is emphasized by "don't bother with the cause or consequences of this" is that the feeling is temporary and you should just notice it without identifying with it. The important thing here is not to judge it after you name it. Another, don't constantly get caught up in negative thoughts like, will it always be like this? Why am I always like this? Because such thoughts will only drag you into a vortex. Once you notice the feelings, distance yourself from them. In other words, observe them from the outside like an objective observer. Mindfulness is not just noticing, it is accepting. What do I mean? Accept this. Emotions are temporary. You may be feeling bad right now. You may be anxious. You may be angry. But these emotions are temporary. Physiologically, emotions are temporary in nature. There is no permanent emotion. Happiness is not permanent. Unhappiness is not permanent. You cannot be happy all the time. You cannot be unhappy all the time. Emotions are your guests. They come and go. And when you enter into any emotional state, know this: you are not this emotional state. You are more. So you are not the emotions, you are more. For example, when you are feeling pessimistic, depressed, or anxious, remember this. This situation, these feelings are guests coming to your home. They are the guests and you are the host. You are not them, you are the host. Welcome them and see them off. They will come, they will go. Rumi has described this situation as a metaphor in a beautiful poem. Maybe we can talk about this poem in another video. Knowing that emotions are temporary and that you are not just them will bring relief. You are more than your emotions, just as the host is more than the guest. Treat your emotions as you would treat your guest. Welcome, goodbye. Your emotions will come and go. Knowing this thought will make it much easier for you to accept these feelings. No matter how much we explain mindfulness, it will be difficult to understand unless you experience it. The process is not yet clearly understood. That's why we will have a little mindfulness exercise in a moment. Now I ask you this. Please find a chair for yourself and sit on it, not too comfortably, but with your back against it. Not too comfortably as if you were going to sleep, but towards the edge of the chair. Let your feet touch the ground. Let the soles of your feet touch the ground. Do not cross your feet. Let both feet be on the ground, open to the sides. Stand upright and do not swing your back backwards. Let your hands be on your knees. This will be our position throughout the exercise, and close your eyes throughout the exercise. Have fun. I want to give you a little reminder while doing this exercise. When you first start doing mindfulness exercises, your attention may get distracted. This is very normal. Look, Our goal is not to not get distracted or to focus completely on something. At the beginning, your attention may get distracted. I don't know, other things may come to your mind while doing the activity. Thoughts like, what was for dinner? I'm going to do this tomorrow. This is ridiculous. What am I doing sitting here? I don't think this is technically useful, may come to mind. This is very normal. Don't blame yourself for this. Just notice it and say, my mind is distracted right now, and then label it, and bring your thoughts back to the present. It's actually a good thing to be distracted. Why is it a good thing at first? Because the purpose of this technique is to teach you to bring your distracted attention back to the present every time. In other words, we will distract, gather, scatter, gather. So every time your attention wanders and you notice it, you're actually coming back to the moment. So you are actually practicing. So don't blame yourself. This is very normal. Attention will wander, we will collect it. It will wander, we will collect it. That's our goal anyway. Don't try to control your breathing. Just breathe naturally and notice the sensations in your body. Right now, just focus on your breathing and your body. If other thoughts come to mind, notice them and gently bring them back to your breathing. Don't try to suppress or block the thoughts. Just notice them, label them, and gently let them go. Breathe in and breathe out. Observe the sensations in your body. Warmth, coolness, a slight tingle, or any sensation. Just notice and acknowledge. Don't try to clear your mind. Just breathe naturally as it is. Continue this for a few minutes. During this time, if other thoughts come to your mind, whether they're plans about the future, memories from the past, or even thoughts like, what am I doing here? Or, this is so pointless. I don't think this will work. Simply notice them. Acknowledge them gently and bring your attention back to your breath. Remember, realizing that your attention has wandered means you are already back in the present moment. Continue breathing slowly and comfortably. If your mind gets distracted by any thought, sensation, or sound, simply notice it and gently bring your focus back to the exercise, back to the present moment. Now, focus your attention on the soles of your feet. Feel the pressure of your feet against the ground. Observe all the sensations. Try to notice the contact of your feet with your shoes, socks, or the floor. What do you feel? Warmth, tingling, cold, or maybe nothing at all? That's okay too. If that's the case, simply notice it. Notice that you don't feel anything. Now, shift your focus to your toes, your big toe, your little toe, and the others. Notice each one individually. Whatever sensations arise, feel them: tightness, trembling, tingling, warmth, cold, or maybe something different. Just observe. Focus your attention on your hips. Feel the contact and pressure between your body and the chair with each exhale. Allow yourself to sink a little deeper into the chair. Notice the points where your hips make contact with the seat. Now, focus your attention on your shoulders. Are they tense or relaxed? Notice it. Shift your attention to your back. Become aware of your lower, middle, and upper back. Follow your spine upward from the tailbone. Stay open to all sensations in your back. If you feel any pain or pressure, simply observe it. Notice the sensations where your back touches your clothing. Now, focus your attention on your chin, your tongue, your teeth. Are they tense or relaxed? Notice it. Now, shift your attention to the sounds around you. Hear them. The sound of cars, birds, or maybe people talking as they pass by. Just notice them. Now, let your attention be free. Your thoughts may drift anywhere. Observe which thought your mind gravitates toward. Then, gently bring your focus back to the present moment. Keep your eyes closed and refocus your attention on your breath. Take a slow, deep breath. Continue this for a few minutes. Now, slowly open your eyes. How do you feel? Practicing this every day will benefit you.